I mean, because we don't have to do any of this. Why are you drinking? What are you drinking?
She's about 30 years old, Judge.
Okay, why is she acting like she's a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old?
Please don't do this. Why are you doing this?
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
Well, don't act like you don't know.
Smug looks, cocky words. In this video, we're meeting 5 of the most arrogant punks to ever face Judge Boyd.
I'm sorry, I'm a little distraught.
Well, I don't understand why you're distraught. Why are you distraught?
I'd rather not speak about it.
Are you aware that she gave him a black eye?
No.
Are you aware that she went over to the home? At the job site, it states, the victim said that his grandchildren were placed on a safety plan on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 by Child Protective Services due to physical abuse allegations. Do you know what that means?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So what that means is that Child Protective Services didn't do a legal case, and her attorney will tell you this. They just did a safety plan. So the safety plan is designed to get the parents stabilized. So what they did was they placed the children with the father-in-law, and I'm sure they told her that these are the times that you can have your children as far as visitation. So what he says is around 9 a.m. today, the defendant, your daughter, came to his job site again, banging on the door. His coworker alerted him that she was here, and they called the police. The grandfather came through the gates and told her to leave. She began yelling, "Where are my effing kids?" He grabbed her phone and threw it so that she would leave the property. She then punched him in the face a couple of times and ran to get her phone. Shortly after, she returned on the property, threatening to damage the grandfather's truck and flatten his tires. She was looking for rocks, so he went to stop her. She came at him swinging with a closed fist. He grabbed her by the shirt and hip tossed her to the ground. He placed his hand on her back until she calmed down. That's what happened. And that was on the first occasion, because this is continuous. And it says that your daughter has a drug problem. Does your daughter have a drug problem?
Yes.
That's either yes or no. So what drugs are she using?
To my knowledge, marijuana.
So you think she's only using marijuana? And you think all of this, that Child Protective Services, which they don't even do anymore, I don't know why they don't do it, but Child Protective Services are not putting children in safety plans or removing them because parents are using marijuana. It has to be more than that. Do you understand?
They didn't tell me that.
Okay.
I actually.
All right. So as a parent, sometimes we let our love of our children blind us or look at things through rose-colored glasses. In order to help children, you need to take the rose-colored glasses off and see your child for who they are. Now, you may not like what you're seeing with your child. You may not like the relationships they're choosing. You may not like the fact that they're doing drugs, but you have to acknowledge that and quit glossing over the fact that she doesn't have custody of her kids. And I hate kids because it's baby goats, but I'm saying kids with the cuts. That's what's in the police report. But she doesn't have custody of her children. And the reason why she doesn't have custody of her children is because there's allegations of physical abuse, not physical abuse where her partner that she chose is hitting on her, but physical abuse to the children and drug use. That's why there was a safety plan. And that's why the children were placed with the grandfather. Now, why the children are not placed with you, I don't know. Maybe it's because you're not acknowledging the fact that your daughter has violence issues, that your daughter has drug issues. Maybe that's why the children didn't place them with, maybe that's why CPS didn't place the children with you. I don't know if you had a chance to put your name down for somebody to be interviewed.
Yes, I did. And
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but they came to my house, and because I was working, she said that I was too busy. And I've been trying to get a hold of them. I've been trying to be part of the safety plan, and they've been pushing me away.
Well, I mean, if they are pushing you away, I do, honestly, I understand why. Because you think that your daughter needs to be on outpatient treatment. You think your daughter needs to be released, and you're not looking at the fact that the children are in the care of this grandfather
This grandfather.
because of allegations of physical abuse and because she is living with somebody in a vehicle. Do you really think it's great for children to be living with parents living in a vehicle?
Your Honor, may I speak?
Yes, you may.
Okay, John Tovar and Jacob Tovar started Annabelle on drugs.
Mhm.
They gave her the drugs,
And how old was she when this started?
18,
All right. And how old was Tovar, her boyfriend?
19.
And where were you as a parent? Were you letting her be out and about? Was she still living with
She
you?
was married with her husband.
These are choices that people make. And what drugs were they using? Just marijuana?
To my knowledge, like I said, I didn't.
All right. So you're saying he started her on marijuana. So according to you, the only drug that she's ever been using has been marijuana. Is that what you're telling the court?
To my knowledge of what I've known, yes, and what she's told me.
All right. Anything you wish to say to the court?
I do.
You want to raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, ma'am.
All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Annabelle Bishop.
All right. What do you wish to say?
I am very remorseful for what happened that day. And I don't feel like I should be,
What happened that day?
well, you had just explained it, but that wasn't the whole story because he did put his hands on me as well, numerous times. That's why I pressed charges back on him.
Why were you at the location?
To retrieve my kids.
All right,
Because
and
the original agreement was my kids were supposed to spend the night with him and I was supposed to pick them up that morning.
No.
That's why I was there.
So you're saying there was not a CPS safety plan in
Oh,
place?
yes, there is. Mhm.
All right.
And the plan that me and Jacob had came up with was for his dad to be on the plan and my mom to be on the plan.
Just please, I'm sorry. I just want to just guide you. a little.
No. I want to listen to what she's saying because she's changing her story to me.
Well, may I have a
Mm-mm.
minute?
No,
Thank you.
she's on the witness stand. So go forward.
But anyways, I'm very remorseful for what happened that day.
No. Let's go back to the safety plan business.
Yes,
So you're saying there was an agreement with the safety plan for what?
just for my mom and his dad to be on the safety plan. That's it. That's all I was gonna say.
No, your mom just testified. You heard her testify that says she was not considered for the safety plan. So she was not on a safety plan. So your mom wasn't on there. So the only person who was on the safety plan was him. So why did you think that you were to go and pick up the children?
My kids,
Yes.
because I missed my kids and I just wanted to see my kids. That's the only reason. I love my children.
Did you realize that was a violation of the safety plan?
No, I didn't realize that.
All right, you want some questions?
Oh, you want to just make,
Sure.
you're not minimizing your involvement, no, you're still taking full responsibility.
Yes.
You're asking the court to not send you to TDC today. You want help for substance abuse and maybe mental health if identified.
Correct.
And you understand the third, if you mess up, you get the full range of punishment.
Yes, I understand.
And this could be more than 5 years.
Yeah.
And you want to stay away from the complaining witness.
Yes,
From the
100%.
families, and you're going to comply with all safety plan, court rules, anything.
Whatever it takes.
And your mother, who else lives in the household?
Just me and my mom. That's it.
And she has to spend a lot of money to point you out,
Yeah.
and you missed court again, why? Because you were,
I had a corneal abrasion in my eye.
okay, and you provide documentation of that to the
Yes,
court.
sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
What drugs were you taking?
I've only ever done marijuana. That's it.
Okay. All right, is there anything else?
Oh, you guys.
All right, court is going to find you guilty. The court is going to sentence you to 4 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Jacob Tovar and Juan Tovar. I see that there is a request for restitution, but in the PS report, the court does not have a restitution amount, so the court is not going to order restitution. It's not in the PSI report.
Please don't do this. Why are you doing this?
All right. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with did you understand it? Did you sign it?
I thought it was gonna be my patient, so I don't know.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed the plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to your attorney. And the state has tendered a dismissal for the assault on a public servant. So that case is dismissed. All right, good luck to you.
Your Honor, one thing further, we do have victims.
Court is calling 2019 CR 0543W, State of Texas versus Tony RC. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Tom Nisbet.
for the defense?
Attorney Bill Simmons.
All right, and are you Miss RC?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state or the defense?
No objections.
Miss RC, did you sign a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video?
Yes, I did.
And did you go over that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilty and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Your Honor, I read it to her, Judge, in terms of what the allegation would be, which is to not submitting for the drug test, Judge.
Ms. Arce, did you review that document with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Tony Gabriel Arce who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2019 CR 0543W for the offense of abandoning or endangering a child with intent to return on January 22nd, 2019 for a period of 2 years and extended for a year?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
State.
Condition number 2, on or about the 25th day of March, 2021, Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Tony Gabriel Arce, did then and there fail to submit to drug testing as directed by the court officer, supervision officer, and or a duly authorized agent of the court in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that, true or not true? How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True.
Well, don't act like you don't know. Did you go over this document with your attorney? Yes or no?
I mean, yes, I did.
So are you pleading true to a violation of condition number 2, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'm a little distraught.
Well, I don't understand why you're distraught. Why are you distraught?
I'd rather not speak about it.
All right, well, we don't have to do this today. No one's forcing you to do this. Because according to my last condition for you, you were supposed to take a drug test and you're not submitting for your drug test. So if you don't want to proceed with this, we don't have to proceed with this. State will file the motion to enter adjudication of guilt. The court will set a bond for you. You'll be
Well, that's why
arrested.
I signed this. That's why I signed this so that I didn't have to go through that.
So
Ms. Arce, if it pleases the court, Judge, could I, Ms. Arce, with the condition, again, on or about the 25th day of the March 2021, that's what we talked about in terms of the violation of your probation is not doing the drug test. So
Okay.
are you pleading true to not taking the drug test?
Yes.
And that's all the judge is asking you. Remember, we said all you have to do is say it's true. My suggestion is unless the court asks you a question directly, you not volunteer anything else, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Simmons, is there an issue going on with your client?
Not as it relates to this. Well, I'll just say my client would like to proceed. She's just I guess the best way to say it is that she's not being, we're not getting exactly what we want. So there's some hesitancy there, but I mean, that's life, and that's been explained. I would say that's the source of the hesitancy at this point, Judge.
All right.
Not anything legal. Would you agree with that, Ms. Arce?
Yes, I would completely agree with that.
Okay.
I mean, because we don't have to do any of this. Why are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I am drinking coffee.
All right.
And I
How old is your client?
She's about 30 years old, Judge.
Okay, why is she acting like she's a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old?
Judge, I would say this did catch her off guard a bit because we thought it would be treated as a motion. And then when she had a compliance hearing, she said that she didn't know about the compliance hearing today. And so when I got the credentials, I said, so I think it's more just being caught off guard with the situation as a whole.
And the reason
not
why
knowing that she was addressing it today.
all right, and the reason why she had a compliance hearing is because she won't follow the rules of the court. I mean, how hard is it to go do a UA? Unless you're afraid that the UA is going to be positive for drugs.
Were you asking me, Judge?
Yes, I mean, it's not rhetorical. I'm throwing it out there at her. Like, how hard is it for somebody to do a UA? She could have had a compliance hearing, which is designed for me to get her attention to tell her, you need to go do this UA. Or I could have just signed the motion to revoke, which is what everybody else wanted to do, which is what probation presented to me. So I don't know why she's acting like this is being caught, like she's caught off guard, like she's walking around without an umbrella and all of a sudden it starts raining. She already knew the storm was coming because she wasn't doing what she's supposed to be doing while she's on probation, which is very simple, which is take a drug test, don't use drugs. And she entered into a plea to this January 22nd. And we had a hearing on August 13th because, again, picking up new cases and not taking drug tests. Then we had a hearing on September 5th. Why? Because she wanted to take a drug test. So
I did take
now
a
we're
drug
back here. Then we had March 12th. She was supposed to submit to a UA by 3 p.m. and she didn't do it. So I don't know why she's acting like she was caught outside without an umbrella when she knew this rain was coming.
I did submit that UA by 3 p.m. I did.
Your Honor, and I don't want to make it seem like I was just, in terms of her general, the court had inquired about her, just kind of the general demeanor. And I was just saying some of it's caught her a bit off guard. I was just saying in terms of what's actually happening today. But a very, very thorough cost benefit analysis, both legally and personally, has been addressed to get us to this point.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
To an extent.
All right, this is what we're going to do. Mr. Simmons,
Yes,
I'm going to
sir.
open up a breakout room. You can speak to your client. I'll send her to breakout room number 1.
Yes, Judge.
Oscar Hernandez. Oh, are you ready, Mr.
Yes, Judge.
Simmons?
Whatever court is my client, she should be coming. She's coming out of the breakout room now. Or at least I told her to come out of the breakout room back into the main lobby. I don't anticipate any other hesitancies.
All right, did you understand we're back on the record. Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there an agreement? You're muted, Tom.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Yes, Judge. pending the court's approval, the parties are agreed to revoke and adjudicate the defendant. And we're going to ask that the court assess 190 days in the state jail, and that the defendant is going to have a surrender date. I'm not sure which Bill is going to ask for, but obviously since it's a motion to adjudicate, I think he has explained to her that she goes all the way up to 2 years in the state jail if she does not show up for her surrender date.
And that is the agreement, Your Honor. The only simple question here would be, someone uses whether or not she would be able to turn herself in directly to Dominguez.
No, she's going to turn herself into the 187 District Court. So the court is finding violation of condition number 2 true. When are you asking for her to present herself to the court?
Your Honor, we're asking for a period of 2 weeks for her to get her children and everyone situated.
Norma, can you recall this case for 2 weeks, please?
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second. April 15th, Judge.
All right, we'll see you here on April 15th at 9 a.m. You're to come to the 187 District Court. That's 300 Jala Rosa, 4th floor, at 9 a.m. on April 15th. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we will see you then.
May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes.
Children do you have?
2,
What are their ages?
6, and 14.
Like, are you employed?
And
What do you do?
managed properties, apartments,
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
8 years.
And does anyone live with you other than your children, or do your children live with you?
Yes, they do.
All right. Anyone else stay with you?
My aunt as well.
When is the last time you've used any type of substance
I haven't used any type of substance.
in your lifetime?
Well, no, it's been quite a while.
So my question is, when is the last time?
Probably about a year and a half ago.
And what drugs were you using a year and a half ago?
Marijuana.
That's all.
Yes.
8 years, sorry about that. 8 years deferred adjudication, $2,000 fine probated, a patch until further notice. I'm going to want a TAP evaluation done and follow all TAP recommendations. And counsel, if TAP recommends inpatient treatment, you'll need to come back to court. There's to be 200 hours community service restitution. She's to complete parenting classes, and those hours will be waived once parenting classes are completed. And probation, you can decide which parenting classes you all think would be appropriate for her. Proof of employment, y'all need to whisper proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. I'm going to want field visits 1 time every 3 months, random, and that's until further notice. Who is Michael Portillo? That's your juvenile child, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is Maria Avalos?
My ex-mother-in-law.
There's to be no contact with Maria Guadalupe Aveles. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Aviles. Aveles.
Could I say something though?
Sure.
Oh. Well, because my mother-in-law, we do have a lot of contact with each other about it. So we have to contact each other. Because I'm not supposed to have contact with her, my ex-husband.
Oh, for kid exchange?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to find somebody else.
I'll talk to him about that.
All right, thank you. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No.
All right, from here on out, everything that you do in your life, there are 2 questions you should ask yourself before doing them. Is this something that could result in me going to prison for life? If the answer is yes, don't do it. The other question you should ask yourself, is this something that may result in me going to prison for the rest of my life? If the answer is yes, don't do it. Do you understand?
I do understand.
I take no joy or pleasure in sending the people to prison. But if it's warranted, I will. And your attorney will tell you I've sent people to prison before. So you have children,
Yes.
you need to look out for them. All right, good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This with the COO, Ms. Abrams, and ADA Daniel. My client is asking to be continued. We had a recommendation that was a three-way agreement. I understand the court didn't want to follow that. I had proposed something to Daniel. I'm hoping that you would consider this. But just some background a little bit first. Her prior MTR was disposed of February 27th, 2024. But she was booked February 3rd, 2024. So from February 3rd till today, according to the clerk, it's 137 days. So she's had the equivalent of a, not court ordered, but equivalent of a 4-month jail sanction. She will admit, well, she did admit that she refused to sign conditions for inpatient. She's willing to do not just ISF, she's willing to do SAT-F. She's willing to redo all her classes. She's been in jail for quite a long time. That's her own mistake. She admits that she didn't want to sign it. Maybe she was reluctant to, but she thought that she was supposed to get out, have court, and come back and do things. And she never left the jail. And out of frustration, she didn't sign the conditions.
No, I don't think she's a good candidate for probation. She was supposed to sign the conditions, the TAP recommended inpatient treatment, and she didn't do it. So I don't think she should be continuing on probation. She was given opportunity, and counsel, as you just stated, this is not her first motion to revoke. Her previous motion to revoke was on February 27th, as you stated, and there was a violation of condition number 1. And I ordered that there be a TAP evaluation in custody to follow those recommendations. And she decided that she didn't want to follow those recommendations. I don't see how there's anything that I can do anything for her. People don't get it. You're not supposed to, when the court orders you to do something, for example, to help you by following the recommendations of TAP. TAP recommended inpatient treatment. And I know sometimes people get to talking to people at the Bexar County Jail. And when I say people at the Bexar County Jail, I mean other inmates. And they give people advice, and people want to follow the advice of an inmate, not realizing that, guess what? That person is in custody. But I made an order, and we can't do this thing where I order somebody to follow the TAP recommendations, and the TAP says inpatient, and then somebody says, I'm not signing to go to inpatient. And then what ends up happening when reality hits that your range of punishment is 5 to 99 years or life, then people come before the court and they want to say, oh, you know what? I changed my mind. Now I will do inpatient treatment. So that's where we are.
And
I don't
Your
think
Honor,
she's a good candidate.
she's also willing to take a felony conviction, change it from deferred to straight probation. She's willing to do the harsher inpatient treatment program with 0 tolerance. It was a poor decision for her to not sign that. 4 months she's been in here. She's willing to sign this, willing to do this, and even add to these conditions.
I just don't think she's a good candidate. If somebody wants to argue to me why she would be a good candidate for probation, when this is her second motion to revoke, and I ordered her to follow the recommendations of the TAP evaluation, and she didn't want to follow them. But now she does because, I don't know, I guess she thought a motion to revoke would not be filed against her.
Yeah, I didn't know that that's what would result.
Ah,
I
so
thought
these are called consequences.
Well, Your Honor, also the charge itself, people who are affected with these substances may not make the best decisions in life. To prevent her from reoffending in the future, relapsing, and she's willing to do even more intensive inpatients.
But she's charged with possession with intent to deliver, and I understand that sometimes when people have possession with intent to deliver cases, sometimes they're selling because they're also using. But The amount of methamphetamine she had was 27.980 grams. I don't think probation is appropriate for her. I'm not going to continue on probation.
Defense would ask for the minimum time, Your Honor, with credit for time served.
All right, I'll sentence her to 5 years in the prison. Give her credit for any time served. And I'll ask for the therapeutic community. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes.
But you do have a limited right to appeal. That right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you are on deferred adjudication. Do you understand?
Yes, please.
All right. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you. Have announcements from the state.
Ryan Gerber for the state of Texas.
From the
Brandon Lopez for Mr. Hall.
And are you I'm sorry, are you Jeremiah Hall? All right, the court is in receipt of a violation report. Defense, did you have a chance to review the pretrial violation report?
Your Honor, I did review the report and I just had a chance to speak with my client about it and I'll answer questions.
All right, State, have you had a chance to review the report?
I have, Judge.
All right, so Mr. Hall, we have this violation report and it appears from what I've seen that you've violated your GPS. All right, and it shows, I didn't know that it could do this, but it shows that you were driving at 75 miles per hour, then at 72 miles per hour, and these are on roads, not on the freeway. And the last I checked, I don't think in San Antonio, there's a 75 mile per hour speed limit. There's a 70 as you get further down the highway, but not on the roads of San Antonio. And then there's the 68 miles per hour, and that's on Blue Wing Road. So I would like to know why this is occurring. So we need to address first, why did he violate the inclusion zone? And second, why is he driving over the speed limit excessively?
And I'll explain you can ask him questions, Your Honor. I talked to my client briefly at 5:07 a.m. or the time that's indicated that he leaves his house. He got a call from his twin brother who was broken down on 410 South. If you look at the map, 410 South right before you reach 37 South. He leaves his residence and you can follow the path of the map. He leaves his residence, goes up 281, goes on to 410, picks his brother up right there on the side of the road by the blowout, comes back down 37, and then cuts over the back way back to his house. So if you look at the numbers as they go around, it tracks as they circle around back to his house. As far as the speeds, I would imagine 281 and 410 have those speeds. I don't know exactly. I read through the addresses. I didn't get the indication that those were tied directly to the spot where they took that speed. It looked like that was a speed that was taking en route to there. I guess I would have to ask the GPS officer how to interpret that, but I think it would be indicative of the proper speed if it's 281, 410, 37.
74 miles per hour.
I think 281 south of 410 is 75 mile road zone.
This is Chavano Road.
And see, I see that, Your Honor, but I also see numbers going around. And I was having a hard time connecting what that meant to where that speed was taken. But I did talk to my client. He understands that even though it was an emergency in his mind and his brother's mind, that he cannot be leaving in GPS. I asked him why he had such a flippant response for the GPS officer that called, and that's it. And he said, I was panicking. I left to go pick him up. I knew I shouldn't, but he was panicked. And I said, well, that's the reason we're here. I mean, you got to explain yourself. You don't have the option to tell somebody it's my business. You know, don't pay attention. He understands the seriousness of why we're here today. But the explanation does seem to track, Your Honor. Like I said, it's his twin brother who had just recently been, I think a week or two ago, lost a couple of fingers in an accident and I was having a rough go of it. I think if those factors combined hadn't been present, he might have told him to find another way. But he did what he thought was right at the time, which obviously was wrong. You know, retroactively looking at it.
All right, is there anything you wish to say? Just 1 second. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. You need to keep your voice up so that I can hear and so that the court reporter can hear. State your name for the record.
Jeremiah Josiah Hall.
All right, what would you like to say?
No, I was wrong, but I felt like it was right because he had nobody else. I mean, I couldn't even down.
All right, you're trailing off and lowering your voice. I didn't hear the end.
Staying him down.
All right, defense, do you have any questions?
Yes, if you were faced with a similar issue, what would you do? If he called you again and was broken down the side of the road? Would you go get him? Yes or no? Yes. You would go get him? I didn't hear you. Do you understand that when you're on GPS house arrest, you have to stay home? There's no, aside from the house being on fire, you cannot leave the house.
See, I thought some GPS would be like, you can go, but like you have a curfew.
But did you understand you don't have a curfew on yours?
No.
Okay. Well, do you understand now that
Yes,
you don't have a
yes,
curfew?
Yes,
All right, and if you have to go somewhere, you have to check with your GPS office and they have to give you explicit permission.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you can tell the court today that there will be no further offenses?
Yes, sir.
State.
If you did have a valid reason because you felt your brother was in danger or something had happened to him, why didn't you just tell the pretrial officer that?
I panicked, sir. I was panicking. I really didn't know what to say. I just,
But if you panicked, why did you tell them it was none of their business?
sir, I really don't.
I can't hear you.
I honestly don't. I was panicking. Honestly don't.
You understand that it's only their business to know where you are and to make sure that you're abiding by the rules that this judge gives you while you're on pretrial.
I did not know that, sir. No, I didn't.
I
I do
repeat
not.
it.
I do not know that. Now I do.
All right, so just 1 second. You're gonna have to speak up because I know that when you're talking to your friends, you're not mumbling.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're gonna have to keep your voice up so that I can hear you, so that the court reporter can hear you, so that your attorney can hear you, and so that the state can hear you. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so don't trail off when you're speaking and lower your voice. Keep it up here so that we can understand what you're saying. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
The judge has indicated her concern with the speeds that are recorded on that. Why were you driving so fast?
I was just trying to help my brother. I had nothing else on my mind.
What was the information you had that you were going, what were you going to go see your brother about? Like what had happened?
Yeah, going out and almost crashed on the guy. So I wanted to go pick him up.
But do you understand that you driving those type of speeds puts other people in danger?
Yes, sir.
I'll pass it on, Mr.
Any other questions?
No other questions. I just wanted to add that his mother is present, not to come and make excuses for him, but she was aware of the incident with her brother, with his brother. That was not aware that he left the house to pick him up. I don't know how that works, Your Honor, but that's the information that's given.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, have you ever been in a court before? All right, so here's the thing. There are rules that you must follow. If you don't follow the rules, you know what's going to end up happening or could potentially happen to you?
Yeah.
Yes. And you know when we would see you? On whatever date it's set, and you'll be brought over in an orange outfit. Do you want that to happen? All right, you have a curfew. And what that means is you need to be in your house. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Communication is key. All you had to do was call the pretrial services officer before you rushed and left and say, my brother has been in an accident. I'm the only person he has to go pick him up. May I go and pick them up? And then that answer was going to be either yes or no. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
When you're on GPS, I know people live by this rule that it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. When you're on GPS, you must ask for permission. It's worse if you ask for forgiveness after the fact. You understand? So what is up with these speed limits?
I wasn't even thinking. I was just trying to get my brother as fast as I could.
Yeah. What type of car were you driving? Everybody knows the vehicle that they're driving.
Avalon. Okay. Avalon.
All right. And is that your vehicle?
Yes, ma'am. No, 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 no.
Whose vehicle is that?
My dad.
All right. So is that your father's only vehicle? Now, what would have happened if you would have wrecked that vehicle? Are you on the insurance for that vehicle?
No, ma'am.
So you know what that means if you would have wrecked that vehicle? That means that your father would have had to pay whatever damages because his insurance was not going to cover an 18-year-old driving these speed limits in his vehicle. Do you understand? And you know what that would have meant? That would have meant whatever amount that your injuries or whatever amount of damage that was done, your father would be on the hook to pay for that. Do you understand? State, what are you requesting?
Judge, and if I may I ask him one more question?
Yes.
You did mention in the court that you've never been in a courtroom before, correct? But you had a case out of Travis, correct?
Yes, sir.
You had a robbery case,
I think it got dismissed.
but you were on bond for that case when this case occurred, correct?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I think it's just a situation where I don't believe that he understands the seriousness of the court's instructions to him, that it's not something where he's just able to decide whether it's appropriate for him to disobey the rules of the court, depending on what he thinks is important, and then afterwards tell the people who are supposed to maintain control of his whereabouts that it's not their business. We think that that's concerning just from a matter of someone who we have to trust that he has to follow the rules that you've given him. And for those reasons, I think that it's something that maybe we should consider putting him on. Is he already on full GPS, I assume?
Not on full, no, he's not.
Then I guess at least the state would maybe ask for full GPS until he can establish some track record that he's going to go and stay where he's supposed to go and not show the, I guess, the judgment that he showed on this particular situation.
And here's my concern. I know that your father didn't give you permission to use his vehicle. And since your father didn't give you permission to use his vehicle and you're driving erratically, well, that's wrong of him. But I don't think he did. I think you're just telling me that because you think I want to hear it. But here's the problem. You're on bond for an unauthorized use of a vehicle. And now you are out here riding in outrageous speeds in your father's vehicle that you are not covered for on the insurance. That's concerning. So what should I do with you? Do you think it would be fair for me to issue a judge's warrant and we can just hear your case while you're at the jail? Because I know you don't want it, but you've violated the court's rules. And this is serious. I'm sure your attorney would tell you that there could have been an accident. So what do you think I should do with you? Because you made a contract and your contract was you're going to be on GPS and you are not to go to any locations unless it was approved by GPS. And you violated that contract. And when you violate contracts, that means that maybe you can't be trusted. You understand? So what do you think I should do? No, you knew the rules. All right, let's stop pretending. You knew the rules. The rules were you're on GPS. And you know how I know you knew the rules? Because this report that I have, it says, please be advised that the defendant chose not to explain the reason he left his home zone. The defendant stated he has privacy and that it was an emergency involving his brother. No further details were provided. That sentence tells me you know what the rules were. No, you knew that was the rule because they called you. And if you would have been concerned and would have been following the rules, when they call you, you would have said, I didn't know what that's the rule. I'm on my way back home. But you didn't. And what I get is the defendant left his home zone and went joyriding. Now I realize joyriding, that's someone's interpretation. I understand that, but you left your zone. What are you working? So what do you do all day?
I'm around the house.
Doing what?
Dishes, anything I could do.
Mhm. All right, defense.
Your Honor, I believe my client's been on GPS for how long? Is that close to a year?
Yes.
And in that time, he has not had other violations. We understand the seriousness of that violation at current. Our request of the court would be, I believe this admonishment has woken up my client to understanding the seriousness of this. We're asking that you continue him on the current level of supervision. And that he understands now, I believe, that any step off the line will mean that he's gonna wait out his trial while in custody. But I believe the previous 12 months or 11 months of following the rules is an indication to the court that he's capable of doing such.
All right. Anything else further from the state?
No, Judge.
All right, I'm going to place you on full house arrest. And just so you understand what that means you're not to leave your house. If there's a barbecue in the backyard, they need to bring that plate inside the house to you. You understand? You're not to be, if somebody tells you, hey, we're barbecuing, come out and watch the grill while we go do A, B, and C. You can't do that. You're in the house full time. You understand? All right, I'm going to continue with the same conditions of the no contact, and it's full house arrest. Of course, no firearm possessions, and I'll waive the fees.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and we're off the record, Brenda. So where are we with this case? Is this case headed to jury trial?
I'll talk to Ryan.
We can talk. I don't think we talked about that part of the judge, but we can confirm.
All right, if you guys can confer and just remain in the courtroom. And where's your mom? Hi, Mom, can you come up, please?
Let's take her.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for coming down.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so he is not to leave the home at all.
Yes, ma'am.
If I receive another report where he is outside the home, what may end up happening is we may end up hearing your case while you're in an orange jumpsuit. You understand? All right, you have any questions about anything? Do you understand what's required of you? All right, just have a seat with your mom. You need to apologize to your mom for bringing her down here for this. No, I'm serious. You know, you need to apologize to her.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
For several years. When she was arrested, it was her first felony arrest, and it scared her. It scared her enough to get clean and to get a job. Since May 10th of this year, she's been clean. She did it on her own without going to rehab because she couldn't afford to go to rehab. And she's been clean for over 6 months. She has reconciled with her mother, and she's been employed since June of this year. She is a different person than the person that committed this offense because she understood and is willing to take responsibility for exactly what happened and wants to move forward with her life. She understood a change was necessary. And I think the person that you see today is a different person than the person that committed this offense. So we would request you place her on deferred adjudication because of that for the 2-year period and just follow the state's recommendation. Judge.
And what did you do?
Like,
No, with regards to this offense.
what did I do?
Yes.
What do you mean? What did I do?
I mean, you're here for an authorized use of a vehicle. So what did you do?
I took someone's vehicle without their permission.
All right, because the police report is saying, at least he's saying he was drugged after meeting a female at a bar. That's what I mean, you seem shocked. That's what's in the police report. Have you read it?
I went over it. It's just,
Yes.
I didn't read that exact part.
Oh,
that
yeah,
said
it
that he
says-
was drugged, but I understand.
So was he drugged?
No.
And then he said his debit card was taken without his permission as well.
I did not take his debit card.
Well, they found it in your purse. That's what the police report says. Because it says right here,
I don't
Victim-
remember them saying anything about that, and I
No.
don't remember having the debit card or anything.
it says, according to the original case number, victim had been drugged after meeting a female at the bar. Victim allowed the female to take him home in his vehicle. After waking up, he discovered his vehicle was gone with the keys, cell phones, and multicolored debit card. He found out later in the day his debit card had been used at a local gas station. The stolen vehicle, which is what we're here today, was found today, had the keys in the ignition, and had no signs of tampering in the steering column. Victim stated he never gave any consent to take or use his vehicle and wanted to process with charges. Victim gave us consent to process and search the vehicle. While searching the vehicle, victim's debit card was found inside her purse. So they're saying they found his debit card inside your purse.
Mhm.
The debit, well, I mean, you're saying,
No, I'm saying, I understand what you're saying. I don't recall them ever saying that or them telling me that or of them ever saying that they found a debit card in the purse. If they did,
yeah, that's what they say right here.
I understand. I just don't recall them ever telling me that personally or them ever bringing
Well,
that up.
wait a second. This is what the police report says. The debit card was a multicolored debit bank card. I also found a gray camouflage bag in the trunk with some work gear and victim's work identification card. Suspect, that's you, was advised of her rights and asked why victim's debit card was in her purse. Suspect said she found it in the vehicle and thought it belonged to her friend. The bag in the trunk, she said, was already there. She said she didn't know the vehicle was stolen. So the debit card was found in your purse.
Mm.
When you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
I'll be clean.
All right, so we'll do a drug test today, then I'll come back with sentencing. All right, Ms. Abrams, can you do a drug test? All right, thank you. So when's the last time you used marijuana?
Yesterday.
All right, so what, your attorney was singing your praises about how you've gotten your life together and you did it all on your own. So why are you using marijuana?
Well, I guess I should say I got my life together. I used to use meth for 5 years.
I'm sorry, what?
I used to use meth and
Yeah.
amphetamine for 5 years. That's what I've been clean for the last 6 months.
But marijuana is illegal here in Texas. So why are you using marijuana?
It just helps me with my anxiety. That's basically it.
All right. But as a part of the program
I
and
would
taking
know-
responsibility,
Yes,
when
sir.
your attorney was singing your praises, talking about how you clean and sober, you
Yes.
know that sobriety does not mean that you're using marijuana. You should have stopped her and said, wait a minute. Let me tell you something. But you didn't. You waited till you got caught.
I mean,
You did.
that's your opinion, yes. And
No, I mean, that's true. Let me ask you this. Did you interrupt your attorney and tell her, I'm not clean and sober because I'm using marijuana? That's yes or no. Did you tell her that?
I told her that I was using marijuana, yes.
I mean, when you were before the bench.
No. But because I just feel like there's different types of sobriety. For me, the meth use was really bad. So,
Well-
and I couldn't carry a job for the last 5 years. And in the last 6 months that I have been sober from methamphetamines, I have been able to get a job and get a car and see my daughter every day and be a mom and be present.
You're not allowed to use marijuana while you're on probation.
I understand that. And I understand that I would not be able to use it and I won't use it.
But do you understand you're not clean and sober?
Yes. And
So what do you do for a living?
I'm a nanny.
Oh, not anymore. I don't allow people on felony probation to be nannies, to be home health care providers, and especially someone who's not clean and sober. And who are you a nanny to? Is this a relative or somebody?
Yes.
Sister, cousin, who is it? All right. So that job is over with today. You understand?
Yes.
So how far did you go in school?
I went all the way through high school. I graduated and I went through some trade school. I had my medical assistant. I went through medical assistant school. I finished that.
And where are your children?
Right now she's at school.
And how old? Do you only have one
I only
child?
have one. She's 14.
And does she live with you?
Yes. And my mom and my grandparents and my other family.
When you say your mom, your grandparents and other family, what is other family?
My aunt, my other aunt, there's a whole bunch of us that live at my grandma's house.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Are there any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, there's a $500 fine that will be probated. 3 years deferred adjudication. Going to do a tap evaluation follow recommendations. If they recommend inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. There's going to be 90 sober meetings in 90 days. I'm going to want her tested for levels. If the marijuana levels go up, then we're going to address that.
Yes.
There is going to be the UA hotline. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. $100 hours of community service restitution. Parenting classes. Once she completes parenting classes, 50 of those hours will be deemed to be satisfied. You're either going to get a higher level education, or either you're going to complete trade school or whatever you're going to do. That's going to be required. And once that's completed, then the remaining of the community service will be deemed to be satisfied. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors.
Other than her daughter, accurate?
No unsupervised contact with minors.
Supervised with her.
I'm sorry?
I won't ever be unsupervised with her.
I'm sorry, what?
I won't ever be unsupervised with my daughter.
All right,
My mom always is there with her.
thank you.
Mhm.
And do you have any CPS history?
There was a long time ago, but they were both closed and dropped,
All right, and what was the CPS history concerning?
due to my meth use.
Okay. I'm gonna want field visits. One time per month for 3 months. And if there are no issues, then it'll be one time every 4 months. Restitution, if any, and no contact with Josiah Hernandez and counsel. If there is restitution that's determined by probation and you think it's inappropriate, you can come back for a hearing.
Judge, I do think we're gonna need a hearing. They've submitted numbers to restitution that we believe is inappropriate.
Okay. All right, and probation, is there anything else she needs?
Your Honor, I apologize. You said restitution if any and no contact with Josiah Hernandez.
Yes. And it's Josiah.
Thank you, Judge. Nothing else, Judge.
Is there anything you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And then if you all want, Ms. Ferguson will set it for a restitution hearing. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, we can go off the record in this court. Communication is key. If you want to be successful on probation, you'll need to communicate with the probation officer. If there's an issue and you feel they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else?
No, Judge.
All right, just have a seat. They'll go over conditions with you.